Hey everyone, on today's episode of the show, we have Rob Guy, a conductor who is based in the UK. He has origins in Wales and is conducting New Symphonia, which is an orchestra that he created with his brother. In this conversation, we get deep into how he made this project come to life, the challenges and opportunities of starting something from scratch, the importance of building community, and bringing music to people who aren't necessarily in major centers. And we also get into coaching because Rob and I did a coaching course together in Vienna recently. So we have lots to talk about. He's super entrepreneurial. He's a great guy. Just such a pleasure to listen to and be around. It was really great to hear about the process of bringing New Symphonia to life and everything that he has learned and shared with us on the episode today. So I hope you love it. As always, thank you for listening. And if this podcast has helped you in any way, I would just love to ask you to send it to a friend today. Just send it to them on Instagram or WhatsApp and just be like, hey, you need to hear this. We just want to help spread the word of what it means to be a fearless artist. And I know that if you're listening to this, you are fearless. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the show. Hi there, and welcome to the Fearless Artist Podcast, where we empower classical musicians to build their own thriving careers. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn, and together with Deanna Petre, we teach artists to conquer the entrepreneurial side of their careers and create the futures they want.
We are two freelance classical musicians who have lived and worked in Europe for a decade, and together we started the Fearless Artist Mastermind, a coaching company created to teach classical musicians how to overcome fear and take action on building their dream careers.
In each episode, we will explore the intersection of artistry and entrepreneurship, teaching you the fearless mindset with practical steps and strategies to build a sustainable career.
Get ready to build your own artistic brand, find a supportive community of musicians so that you don't have to figure out everything alone, and earn a living that you deserve.
We believe that you can be a thriving artist and not a starving one, and we are redefining what it means to be a classical musician in the modern era. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fearless Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Lynn, and today I'm thrilled to have my friend on, Rob Guy, conductor Rob Guy. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Michelle, hey everyone. It's great to be here. I've listened to so many episodes of your podcast driving around to gigs. And I listened to your podcast and heard, followed you before we even met in person. So it felt like I already knew you and everything that you stood for.
I think we need to be honest. You told me you were watching my podcast while you were driving around, which I was slightly horrified about. I was like,
yeah.
I think we have like 12 views per YouTube video, and you're one of the 12. If anyone is listening to this, please go check out our YouTube channel.
Well, you see, like when I'm listening, stuck in traffic maybe, I like to be able to see the people that are talking. It's nice
of course.
I like to watch it. So yeah, have it on, listening, and I like to watch you and your guests speak. Yeah.
Well, today you're that guest. No, I was really grateful that you messaged and said that you'd heard every episode. It always means so much when people are listening. So we got to meet in person recently in Vienna. You want to tell the story?
So we were in contact. I remember the first time that we DM'd was through, I'd missed your course through Bernhard Karras online in Vienna that you were doing, and I couldn't make it. And I read what you were doing and I was like, wow, this looks so good. So many of my students would benefit from this kind of thing. I'm doing similar things, but not so kind of formalized. I couldn't go. And then you messaged me, and then I was on the way to a choir practice and there was terrible weather. And I remember trying to listen to your voice notes going into choir practice, and I couldn't really hear it because the wind was howling.
So dramatic.
Yeah, it was very dramatic. It was like, like trees falling down. It was really, really like red weather warning. It was terrible.
Oh man. Okay.
And then we then were in contact, and then by pure coincidence, and it's not a surprise now that I know you, that we realized we were going to be on the coaching course in Vienna with Bernhard Karras and friends. And that's where Michelle and I had the great pleasure to meet end of February, I think 28th of February, 1st of March, for a really intense coaching course. And then we've done an online course. And I think that this is just the preface in chapter 1 for a long story.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you just find people and you know that they're your people. You just click. And definitely. I mean, maybe let's hope that storm that you had wasn't foreshadowing or anything. But no, I mean, we chatted. You're like, hey, I've been listening to every episode. You were totally aligned. We think the same. You teach on faculty at Manchester. You have students that you're coaching. There was just instantly so many things that we wanted to talk about. But first, Please, will you introduce yourself to our audience? Because I realize I skipped over all of that.
It's okay. So everybody calls me Rob. Professionally, maybe on stage, I go as Robert. It's mainly because my 97-year-old grandmother, Nana, who taught me piano and introduced me to music, can't stand it when I go as Rob. So she might even listen, because I'm sure my mum will play it to her.
My grandma.
So
Hi.
everyone calls me Rob. I am based in Manchester, based in South Manchester in the UK, and I am Welsh. I am a conductor. I work across North Wales and then mainly in the northwest of England at the moment, with bases in Liverpool, Manchester, North Wales, and then all around the UK and further afield for conducting things.
And internationally, I mean, you have Hong Kong coming up.
Yeah. So I'm a conductor. I've created my own orchestra in North Wales, and I'm a teacher. I love working with hungry young musicians that need to know all about being fearless and being encouraged to be fearless, and that helps me be fearless. So I love that mix of conducting, creating stuff, and teaching. That's me.
That's amazing. Okay, please say something in Welsh for us, just for everybody listening.
Penbrwydd hapus I ti, Michelle. Happy birthday, Michelle, for recently.
Aw, thank you. That's so nice. Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. Dwi'n byw in Wrexham. I live in Wrexham. Dwi'n byw in Manceinion. I live in Manchester. And dwi'n dod o Wrexham. I'm from Wrexham. So, yeah.
Very cool. So that's such a cool language. Okay, give us a little rundown of your symphony orchestra, New Symphonia. You started it with your brother, who's a clarinetist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you give us a little story?
So, where I'm from, in Wrexham in North Wales, there's this different now, but particularly like in 2011 when we started, there's this sense that everything happened in the south, like the classic north-south divide. But North Wales is quite a rural area in bits, and we were playing, my brother and I went through, we started lessons with my nana in her like mining house. My granddad was a miner, and it was the council house that you had. It was very humble beginnings, and there was just this love of music in my family. It was just there. No one had done it kind of professionally. And we went to like the Wrexham counties. We started playing and we got good. Then we joined the National Orchestra of Wales. And there was this memory that we were all playing in this concert in Cardiff. And the majority, there's a lot of us from North Wales. And they were like, why are we doing this in Cardiff? We just need to be doing this at home where we're from to be making an impact. I was a viola player. And they were like, well, John organised it. John maybe write something. Rob, you conduct it, come play. And we just started like that. And we went, there was a local hotel. His name was John Allen. He's a complete legend. And he had his own private hotel. And we just went to him and just said, we want to put this orchestra concert on in Wrexham. We're going to have like people our age. So we were like, 21, 22, graduating from bachelors and masters. And we want to do this concert in Wrexham. And you went, brilliant idea. I'll give you my hotel for the weekend.
Wow.
So he blocked off, much to the frustration of his business partner, the entire weekend from Friday to Sunday so that he could have the orchestra stay there. He charged us like 200 quid for the weekend. Okay. And everyone stayed there, created this lovely, like, social, strong bonds. We did the concert. The ticket money went back to the players to cover their travel, and it was great. And that's how we started. A friend was the soloist, and loads of people came. Through like, I was, growing up in the area, we'd had like strong connections, and it was just so overwhelmingly positive. People loved doing it in Wrexham in North Wales, and that was the start. And then years later, 2-3 years later, for doing like 2 or 3 concerts a year, we were like, oh, this is becoming a thing. We then got invited to play at a festival, North Wales International Music Festival, and then that snowballed into meeting people, to seeing people. And then an amazing lady called Paula Jewson, who is an incredible leading business person in North Wales with her company, she took us on through a scheme to Arts and Business Cymru. Cymru's Welsh for Wales. And we learned so much about business through her, like how to do a phone call. We went to her meeting and we rocked up in our clapped out Ford Fiesta in a car park with incredible cars. And we got out and we were like, something tells me we don't quite belong here. We went inside and she just said, right, where's your business plan? And we were like, what's a business plan?
Yeah.
And she just basically sat down for many years and just helped us map out a business plan, help us how to write emails, this whole kind of beggar mentality, but oh, please can we? And she said, you need to just know that you've got something worth offering.
Wow.
And not to be beggar mentality, and to be much more kind of comfortable and confident in your own skin, all these things that you don't realize when you're trying to build something. And at that point, we were just following our love and passion for wanting to put something on in North Wales. And she helped us with so many things. Then in the pandemic, we converted to a charity, and it's just grown and blossomed. So now there's 3 kind of in the executive team. There's myself, co-artistic director, with my brother who's co-artistic director, and we've got this awesome colleague called Ruth who's co-company manager with my brother who's co-company managers. We're all like co-cos because we're all doing like 3 or 4 different jobs. And then we've got 2 brilliant administrator project managers, Romano and Kathy, 2 of them who are ex-students from Manchester Uni where I worked. And was like,
okay,
you're good, can you come and work for us?
So okay, that's literally exactly what I did with my assistants. Yeah.
There's about 5 of us, and we're building this organisation. And there's the New Sinfonia, which is a professional, freelance-based orchestra. Many of the musicians now, like 15 years later, who are all like in the UK's top orchestras and further afield. And we can be anything from like 5 musicians up to 60, depending on funder and venue. And this is the thing: there's theatres in North Wales, but there's no like concert hall. There's theatres and nice spaces that do them, but like there's no dedicated like concert hall. And that forces us to be nomadic, to go around North Wales, to take music to people, which is a big thing of what we do. And like there's no backstage in some of these spaces. So the backstage is front of house. And actually that's amazing because you literally talk to people as they leave. And that's really, I'd say to anyone that's doing a concert, when you finish a gig, go straight to front of house. Speak to people, make yourself available. That's really interesting, the conversations that happen there. And we've got 3 strands. There's the orchestra, there's New Voices, which is community singing programme across North Wales, where it's open access, unauditioned, anyone can come and sing. And we work with a brilliant organisation called United to Assist Refugees UK. Many people face great challenges, and music is a great way of bringing people together. So there's 300 singers on the books, and any project can have up to 100. And it's like side up project by project. And an idea from Mr. Bernhard Karras was to start that out as pay what you can. And it's not gone bust yet. So that's going really well. We've done 15 projects. And then we've got a new academy, spelled the Welsh way with an I at the end. And that's for all our education work. And a big passion of mine is that you can be from North Wales, you can be from a rural area, and you can follow your dream and be a musician. Or you can follow your dream in whatever it is that you want to do, and hopefully music can be a part of your life in that. But that you don't have to travel 100 miles to play with an ensemble. You can do it on your doorstep. And one thing I'm really proud of is that we work with all the music services in North Wales to promote ensemble playing. My brother writes the music, he'll write a piece, and then we'll do ensemble education days where you'll have someone that's had 1 lesson on the ukulele and they're playing alongside the orchestra. So like people who are like grade 8 and going off to conservatoires. And it's truly like grassroots Reiki. Because I just think if you want to have a big professional orchestra, a great choir, you've got to have music making in every community. And I think that's what we're all about. Trying to create work for people in North Wales to have this sense, like I did. I had to move to Manchester to build my career here, really, and I've stayed here since studying. You don't have to travel 100, 200 miles to Cardiff or to Manchester, Liverpool to hear great things. It can happen on your doorstep, and the talent's there. It's just about creating opportunities and pathways. So that's my mission in life. One of them, anyway.
It's amazing to hear you speak about it because you're so passionate and articulate about it. This resonates a lot with me. I'm from small town Alberta. I didn't see an orchestra until I was 18 years old. So absolutely, there's such a need to bring music to the people. And as you're saying, there's no concert hall, so we have to go to them. But that's perfect, actually, because then you are able to reach more people where they are. I know at Classical Next last month they were talking about, there was another orchestra in Scotland, and they were very community based, very local based, and they're saying our mission is local, and we embrace that. We really choose for that.
It's interesting, that term community, because one thing I observe in, sometimes it can be quite easy for big organisations, some that I've worked for the association to be that this is the professional stuff, this is the community stuff. I don't like it when it's so different. I think the two need to talk to each other and communicate, but also the assumption that sometimes if it's in the community, it's not going to be as good. I firmly believe that we pride ourselves at New Voice and New Sinfonia. For example, you have a professional orchestra, but then you have your community choir. If the leader sets that barrier up there, they will get there if you have the skill to help them get there. Don't lower your expectations just because they're not professional. So we try to be a champion of community equals, or can be, outstanding professionalism. It's a big belief of mine.
So, you're summarizing everything so nicely, but I know that this has been a very, very long, arduous process to set up all these different things, especially going through the pandemic, finding funding. Talk about some of the challenges that you faced and how you've managed to overcome them.
Well, many challenges. On a personal level, I was born 70% deaf. So it was my nana that spotted that I was having hearing problems, and I wasn't discharged from hospital until I was 16. There was no damage. It just was, the tubes in my ears were shut tight, and it was through music that people realised, actually, Rob can't hear. He's not just a bit slow to develop. He just can't hear.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So that was a challenge. And then, you've this feeling of feeling behind playing the violin, where you kind of hear it as if it's through like water, but you can feel it here. And that's why I love playing the piano, because you could feel it in your fingers somehow. So that was a challenge. And like growing up, people saying, I don't think music's going to work for Rob. He's too far behind. He's had to learn to listen, because for so long when I was playing the violin, I kind of heard it and could kind of learn patterns. And I remember I got destroyed on a grade 7 violin exam, where the person basically was like, every single note you played was out of tune. Some things didn't change, some people might say. But I learned to listen. And when I went to start I met this amazing teacher on an endangered species day. This was the thing. There was this amazing day at a theatre in North Wales that, full circle, I'm now an ambassador for, because of this story where she came and she said, you're really musical. You really got something, but your technique's awful. We're going to have to go back to the beginning. But if you get into Manchester, I promise I'll teach you. She gave me that, that is what I'm going to do. She gave me that kind of inspiration. She gave me a chance. And yeah, I became a professional viola player, and I think I proved myself wrong that I could do it, and proved a lot of other people wrong. Another thing was that we were working with organisations, and when we started out, a number of people were like, what the hell are you doing building an orchestra in Wrexham? My violin teacher was like, what are you doing? No one's going to come. No one's going to come to classical music in Wrexham. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. And there's a big organisation, and they said, Rob and John, great idea, you're wasting your time. There's no audience for classical music in North Wales.
Wow.
So we were just like...
For people to say that so straight to you.
Oh, yeah.
That's so discouraging.
Yeah, but we kind of found that quite funny, because we got into the car, and I won't say the exact words, but we just went, well, okay, we will insert swear word, prove them wrong.
All right.
We're the underdogs. We're going to just show you wrong. You've got it wrong. You don't see it. You don't see it. So we just call it like bullish mentality, but it was just like, we'll just prove you wrong, because when you know deep down, and when you feel and something really believes something, you just do it. So that was a barrier to the whole concept. And then it was quite nice, full circle, like 10 years later, when your career grows individually for both my brother and I, and this thing has become bigger than just Rob and John Guy. Like, for the first time, I think if we were to stop working for the company, this organisation will grow. And that was a big thing. Like 5 years ago, it has stopped with us. So, yeah, I mean, in the early years, it's like, it's doing everything. It's like getting the music in, getting the publicity out. As you may have figured, I'm not exactly the best on tech. So you develop your own skills, and John was great at the marketing. He did all that. And then if you want to go far, you have to bring people in, and people started to help. I mean, like, our mum and dad were amazing. Like, after like New Symphonia concerts in the early days, they'd had parties afterwards with like 50 people at the house to have parties and to get people there. And they would be driving, it's not the greatest of places connectivity at times, so they'd be driving people to like train stations or to airports or to bus stations and picking people up from various places to make it happen. And yeah, just like, we weren't paid from it properly for a long time. Like, when we first started out, we were getting experience, and we were making sure the players weren't out of pocket. And then I would say, as we started to get bigger and become much more business minded and equipped, we were then taking like admin on projects that we were doing. And then coming out of the pandemic, when we became a charity, it was our trustee Ruth, who now actually has left and come back as a member of the team, was like, you have to start paying yourself. You have to just start by taking like 500 quid a month admin and see how it goes. And touch wood, 5 years ago, like, we didn't really know how it was going to work, but we just started it.
Yeah.
And you just kind of find a way to make it happen. So that was John and I being paid, and then that got increased up to be like more competitive rates. I mean, if I'm being honest, they're still way under what they should be really for the skill you have and whatever. But there's now 5 of us taking a monthly salary.
Wow.
Not all full time, like anything from like a half a day up to 2 and a bit days a week between people. But I think what I realized from that when working with my brother is that he's very good at just going, well, we just have to do this. We'll find a way. And I was like, I need to see this is going to work. I need to see this is, and he's quite good at like just going boosh and swimming. And I like to survey the land. And he was right. In that instance, we just had to jump and go.
Hey everybody, real quick, I just want to say that if you are struggling to post on Instagram, first of all, you are not alone. Most musicians are sitting there scrolling and not knowing what they would actually post about. Second of all, if that's you, then I have a free gift for you. It is our free guide, 10 golden rules to posting on Instagram as a classical musician. If you follow these 10 rules, you will grow, you will get more followers, you will get more views, you will know what hashtags to use, you will write captions that are interesting, and you will build an audience. And guess what a bigger audience gives you? More concerts. That's right, everybody. So all you need to do is DM us on Instagram at the Fearless Artist Mastermind. Just write golden and we will send you our free guide. Hope you love it, and thanks for listening. This is so funny because you could literally just have told the TFA story. I mean, that's exactly what happened to Deanna and I. We were like, finally, enough is enough. We're 3 years in. We're going to pay each other $500 a month. It's like nothing, but it's something. And that was the starting point. And she's exactly that. She's you. She needs to survey the land and see and check. And I'm like, we're doing this now. Move. And she, so we found a balance, and like, thank goodness she let me jump in the water, and sometimes she has to rescue me, but she jumps in with me actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we found is that, with only 2 people, there's a ceiling on what you can achieve. Like, you only know what you know. And I've been really proud of how my brother and we're very different people. We've got very different skill sets, and that's great because we're not the same, and we challenge each other. And I'm sure, like, if he was saying that, you know the hell out of me. But like, fundamentally, like I think fundamentally, like, it's 2 brothers, and I don't think there's many people that work with their brothers for 15 years doing something. And like, I think in the early days that was so important because we had each other's back. Like, we knew, even if it wasn't articulated, like, we're in this for the long run.
Yeah. So good.
And it's kind of got this like family connection, like strong sense. And I think that really feeds into everything that we do. Like, people tell us they love to come and play with us. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like different somehow. And that sense of family community is what I think shines through all the things that we do. And now, because we're going in, I mean, if you'd have said 15 years ago this would have happened, I'd have just said, no way. And we feel that we haven't really got going. And we've just kind of, at times it's felt like you're going against the wind, against the storm, against the rain. And another thing you have to overcome is the rejections to grants and things. And sometimes a grant project or a project is rejected because it's not a very good idea. You haven't thought it through. And sometimes the best ideas don't get funded. But if you just keep going, you find a way. And I think like we could have given up at the pandemic, but it was never questioned, to be honest. I mean, like when you're like really down, you go, "Is this going to work?"
Yeah.
But you just keep going, and we've been very lucky to have great people around us, family, friends, and great musicians who, like when I'm working somewhere else and they go, "Oh, I love New Symphonia. I love coming there to do that. I love this. I love that person. I love that story." So we're on a roll now, and we've had like 7 grant rejections recently, but we've had 3, and the 3 hits are great, and that will build the next one. So
That's all. Yeah, amazing. If I can pull one thing out of this conversation so far, it's you keep mentioning these key people who invested in you in some way, whether it's teaching you the business side of things or offering the hotel or your parents holding parties. I mean, you've had community around you who've believed in you, and that is so fundamental. Talk a little bit about your coaching journey, because I think that mentorship plays such an important role also in coaching. I know Bernhard is a huge mentor for both of us. I've learned so much just being around him. And I think it's so important that we choose the people that we allow to influence us, especially as pioneers in the classical music industry. I think both you and I are on this mission of changing the industry in different ways. And so that's why it's so important that we're surrounded with people with this mindset of openness, looking for possibilities, not coming at you and saying there's no classical music audience in Wales. You're like, well, actually there is, and we're going to make it happen. And you've built. So yeah, how is that playing into now as you step more into a coaching role with both your Manchester students and colleagues?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I observe in my own life, taking a step back, and there's the coaching term, one thing I just have sensed and felt for a while is that I've almost been growing and coaching for many years, particularly with working in education, and particularly at higher education, where you're working with bachelor's and master's students that, are coming to you for advice. And I realised and thought a while ago, well, how can I advise you if I don't know what it is that you want? It's your life, on a personal level. I loved it when teachers really kind of tried to get inside your brain to figure out, it's your career, it's your life, what you want to do. And I tried to do that. I mean, I studied as a viola player primarily, and as I started to be doing my bachelor's, this conducting bug inside me was growing, and it was like, I don't think I want to be I don't think I want to be a viola player. And I did it, and that was a dream. And I played to a really high level. I'm really proud of that. And I learned so much from chamber music, but actually it's conducting. And it takes a lot of bravery to pivot.
Yeah.
And at that point, friends to support you, but also like my network is my family and friends and professional people to help you, because sometimes you need different people in different situations. And I've got into coaching through a belief like that music has given me an opportunity to grow as a person. What I love about music and conducting is every day is a learning day. And growing up as a kid, like I work with my brother. So growing up as a kid, I was the shy one. I was quite quiet. I was terribly bullied at school for playing the violin because I went to my local state school. No one really played the violin. Like school in year 7 and 8, so like when I was 11, 12, 13, was tough. And then I found my thing, music. And then I found people that liked that thing, and that became that. So, and a lot of those friends are in New Symphonia. So I think that's the support that I've had, like your network, and I really think you need it to go far, because we all need to like lean on someone at times in life, be it personally or professionally. And my journey into coaching was really then like kind of kicked forward down the line by my work at Manchester, where I work with I had a bachelor's class for 24 student conductors in, and then 6 of them were kind of majoring in conducting, working with our ensembles. And, they get into their 3rd and final year of their bachelor's, they start thinking about what's next. And they just seem to gravitate towards me. I'm not a member of academic staff. I kind of sit on this like halfway house I work primarily with students, but I'm a member of staff. And I think I was in the profession, I was doing things, I was trying to do my social media, I'll come back to that. And I was growing something, and I was working all, in different places, and they see what's going on through your socials, and they would just say, and I enjoy helping people. Fundamentally, I'm in education because I like helping people, and I like trying to help people along their way. And I just regard it as like a real exciting privilege to spot the leaders when they themselves maybe don't quite realize that they're a leader yet. I love that when that happens. Like with the conducting auditions.
Like empowering people.
To say, if you considered about being a lead, going for conducting, and they went, oh, I'm not confident enough for that. And I'm like, perfect. You should give this a go. So I've realized I've been coaching quite a lot through that. And then what I've realized through the course that we've done through Bernard, where it's much more about asking the right questions that unlocks within themselves what they want to do. And I really enjoy doing that. And I've tried to apply that to my teaching. Like sometimes a student needs to know, Doosh.
Yeah.
Other times they just need to trust the environment is safe for them to be vulnerable to go. And that's kind of what happens in a conducting lesson. As a conductor, you can have an individual lesson, score study and all that kind of thing, and work with some musicians. But like the real magic happens when you're stood up in front of everybody. And fundamentally, that's the tricky thing as a teacher conducting, to create an environment where you can challenge someone in front of everybody to get better. And you need to have like a mutual respect between teacher and conductor that you're there to help. And that's kind of coaching, I think. Help listening, which is a job as a conductor, and then asking the right question.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. What else has stuck with you from the course? I know there was so much that we covered. You said it was intense earlier. Did you find it intense, and what was intense about it for you?
So like you think, so it's this whole concept of not trying to control the speed of the conversation, giving things time to open. Sometimes there can be in such a rush to just go in and get the answer, and everyone thinks at their own speed. And particularly within a coaching context, it's allowing that conversation to open naturally, that doesn't feel rushed, doesn't feel hurried, and to like truly listen, not just hear, but to truly listen deep inside, and to like observe like body language and other things that are coming to play. And that's kind of the job of a conductor. It's listening, it's responding, it's suggesting. Sometimes, like, oh God, this is about to fall apart.
Yeah.
And another thing as well is that it's this difference between, I think sometimes as a teacher, you need to be a coach, but then you need to go, okay, I'm going to just take a step into this path here. And this is me being like a teacher consultant. And, sometimes people need answers. If you just keep on asking questions, sometimes people need to be a bit more focused. So I enjoy figuring out when you're like, okay, I'm coaching, I'm asking questions. And sometimes, particularly in orchestral context, like they just need to know, where's the downbeat, Rob? What's the tempo? Or a student needs to know, I think you need to do this.
Right.
So I enjoy that kind of merging of coaching with like teaching.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out.
I mean, for me, it was about the consulting versus coach asking good questions. And I like what you're saying, like holding space for people to unravel thoughts, unravel situations. A lot of situations are complex and require, considering it from different angles in order to know what the right way forward is. But I realize a lot of the work I do in TFA, for example, like the social media stuff, it is consulting. It's like, okay, this is what's going to work. This is how you should present it. We're dealing with a platform, or we're dealing with videos, or here's how to, storytelling. There's a lot of things that are just, this is how you do it. So for me, it was really learning that balance of when do I do consulting versus coaching, and what situation is appropriate for both.
I think for me, I hear everything that you said there, and I think I probably gave quite a waffly answer to the first bit. I think just having had a chance to listen there, I think the main thing that I found that like really kind of, when you're feeling like a bit nervous backstage, that like butterflies in your tummy builds, and it's that kind of excitement. When I started to feel that was when we were discussing saying what you think, radical candor. And one thing I find hard, and I'm trying to get better at, is saying what you think. Be it as a conductor, sometimes we forget to say the obvious. Wow, that sounded amazing. I loved that melody. Sometimes we could be so focused on getting things better, we forgot to say incredible oboe solo. And when something isn't quite right, being brave, having the environment that it's your job and it is okay to say, hey, we need to get the violins here. We're not together here. We need to do X, Y, Z, and addressing the obvious, because I think people really ultimately respect you when they can hear that you can hear and that you're fixing it. And also the coaching then has influenced so many things in my life. It's how to say what you're thinking in a radically kind, candid way, so that things then don't start to eat you up inside.
That's so good. Yeah, especially
it's
with
hard.
You're working with a team at New Symphonia. I also have a team at TFA, and I know in the past I would let things go, or try to let things go that were actually bothering me, and then it was learning to trust, like, no, if this is something that's important to me, then I should speak up about it, because there's a reason why I think it's important. There's a reason why I think it needs doing, and it's a really good point. And also to bring it in a way that's healthy for the whole team, to say, like, this is what I'm noticing. I think coaching has given me a new vocabulary. It's given me a new language to approach topics in a way that's grounded and maybe less emotional.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Just it's kind of taking a step back. Okay, like in that session we had, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to tears. It's okay to have anger. Actually, it's okay to be frustrated. Let's deal with that. And that's all okay, because everyone responds. I mean, particularly as musicians, we all respond so differently and very often very passionately about things. What have you noticed in your life since coaching? What's been interesting for you?
Well, I think coaching has changed me a lot. I mean, this course changed me a lot. I mean, it's what I already shared a bit, taking more space for conversations, looking at one issue from multiple perspectives, like the Rubik's Cube example. Here's the Rubik's Cube. It's solved. What color is it to you, Rob? Oh, you're going to say yellow. Well, to me, it's blue, because I'm sitting on the other side of the table as you. So we can argue all day, it's blue, and you say it's yellow. But actually, coaching is also kind of coming around to the same side of the table and looking at it together and saying, oh, I see that it's yellow. Let's talk about that. And then you can turn over the cube and say, oh, now do you see like the blue side? And then from there, you see more possibilities open up. You see people relax. It takes pressure off of situations, because you're seeing that there's more than one way to go forward. This classical music training, it's always right, wrong, black, white, all, wrong note. We're all talking about being in tune. You're in tune or you're not. So many string players have this complex about like intonation, right? They just flinch if you mention the word tuning, because you guys have like been probably knocked on the head your whole lives about that. For us, it's like wrong notes. So there is an element that it's like, it's either this or this. But in coaching, it's not like that. And in life, it's not like that. And there's multiple possibilities, and reframing things and having slower conversations has in the past been like what you said, you just want to go in and get the answer. But actually, if you can slow things down, like, I don't know, even in Pilates this morning, they were saying like your muscles take time to soften and open up. So how much more so do our hearts take time to soften and open up about things that we're so passionate about? And taking that step back to observe the situation, like you're sharing, not being so personal about it, because you can see more opportunities and possibilities if you're a little bit further back, zoomed out perspective. I think also like the Lego session that we did, building the models. I built a model of the Fearless Artist, and I built a model of my performing career.
It had a beautiful flower on the top, everybody. It was very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And like, what does that mean to different people? And it just, I don't know, it also teaches you new things, seeing things, different perspectives, different ways of thinking. It's just so rich. There's like a richness that comes in when we have a good session, a good coaching conversation.
We did that at New Symphonia. I took a load of Lego into the University of Manchester, and my students were like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Team planning.
That's That's
Yeah,
funny.
we built New Symphonia for the next 3 years out of Lego, and we put it out on this massive map on the floor. I mean, I drew a terrible map of North Wales, and it had like Ruth put red together, and it was what was interesting was the process that it unlocked when people were building things.
Yeah.
Ruth built like red, and she was, that's the heart, and then John came in and went, "Can I build it into an actual heart so it looks like a heart? Because it's kind of stressing me out that it's just like a blob." And he built a Lego, and then it was like, well, what are the components of that heart? And it was really interesting how it unlocked conversation. And I think to bring it back to TFA, and I think to where I feel like I really resonate with you, Michelle, is I love what you're doing with TFA, because this whole concept of being fearless, it needs bravery, it needs to be practiced, and we need role models. And I think that's everything that you're doing is unbelievable in that arena. And like, I don't know about you, like I'm helping a lot of musicians at the moment that maybe are thinking about coming to do a degree in the arts, music, but just in the arts, say, and then are graduating, and it's like, what now?
Yes.
This whole thing is going. I don't know about other subjects, but I can certainly say within the arts, what can feel really scary is this sense that it's not get a job as an intern, then I'll go to that, 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 and I will earn X money, X money, X money, X money, X money. And
the corporate ladder.
There is that kind of pathway maybe within like structures that exist, but it's scary to look at it as an artist and to go, well, how am I going to earn that amount of money? And, the pressures that can come from friends and parents and carers and guardians as to how that's going to happen, and seeing, how students and, colleagues are going to go through that. And it's this sense of you're your own business. And I do think that university music degree programs, we ask people to come and do and say that you can go and do X, Y, and Z. But I do think that every degree should just have this sense of business equipping course, either as an optional extra or as part of the course, because I think so many people get scared and give up too soon.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. There's so much about this that is perseverance and grit. And, I've had 1,000 reasons to give up, and almost did many times. And also TFA, we had many obstacles that we had to decide, are we going to do this or not? And recommitting and replanning. I love that you built out New Symphonia for 3 years, because I think that just speaks to, like, we're in this, we've committed. And I think when you're building on a wobble, you just can't go deep, because there's always that uncertainty in the back of your mind. Like, oh, where's the back door? I got to get out of here when it gets too hard. But it's like, no, what you said about you and your brother, like, we're doing this. And I know Deanna and I feel the same way about TFA.
Like students come, oh, and it's not fair that person got that. And, how did they get that? How did they get that? And you go, well, did you even apply? Oh, no, you didn't. Right. Well, like I didn't think, I should go for it. Well, no offense, mate. You can't get frustrated if you didn't even apply.
Yes, I know.
And, there's a reason
why.
Did
you try? Yes.
Yeah, not all the best people get the gigs at the time, but it's a big journey for me has been like, actually, let's not get bitter and jealous and all these other people that, graduated at me at the same time do things. Focus on yourself.
Yeah.
There is a place for you in the industry. And if you concentrate on being the best version of yourself, being humble, being fun to work with, and have a good network, I do think there's a place for people to go. And I think that all industries need creative, artistic souls, whatever it is. So, but yeah, a big thing I tell my students is don't make the decision yourself. Just apply and leave it to them. Let them decide.
That's so good. I say the same thing, but some different way. Don't be your own ceiling.
Don't be your own ceiling. Love that.
Don't be the no. We get enough no's in this industry. We don't want to be our own no.
And celebrate other people's successes. Like, genuinely do it. Like, there's this beautiful piece by Ben Parry. He's a composer. I taught his daughter, actually. And he wrote this piece that we sang at Manchester called Flame. And I can't remember the text, but the author of the text. But basically, it's called Flame. And it's this concept that a candle doesn't burn brighter because it's the only bright candle shining. And we did this at Manchester, and I remember saying, like, one of the reasons I picked this piece is that the environment that I want us all to have here is that we not just like tokenistically celebrate someone's success, but like all these candles are burning brightly, and you can do that in your careers. You don't have to, try to put someone else's flame out.
That's amazing, Rob.
Sing your song, and make other people sing. Yeah, that's what I say.
I feel like that's a Welsh saying that you just said in English or something. Is there like a Welsh translation of that? Sing your song.
Well, there's like all these cheesy sayings. I mean, I'm looking at one on the magnet on my kitchen now, and it says, to be born Welsh is to have blood in your music and poetry in your soul.
Oh, wow. Hey, just super fast. Can you talk quickly about your social media transformation recently?
Yes.
I mean, I watched the video you posted 2 days ago, and you like poke your head in and you're at the piano and you're like, hey, everybody, here's what I'm going to do today for score setting. I'm like, this is so Rob. Like somehow you have understood the concepts and just ran with it, and you're totally yourself, which I think people love, because you're just you, and then on camera, and it's giving you more visibility. So anyway, just share a little bit.
So, well, for everyone listening that is like, who's Rob Guy? I never heard him before. I did do social media. I did it. It just wasn't consistent, and I would do it when I had the time and the energy for it, and some things would go well and other things not. And I've always known, particularly through like New Symphonia, like so much of our audience for certain things will come through social media campaign. It's a really powerful tool. So I was doing it, just not consistently. And then we were sat in that nice restaurant in Vienna.
Oh man!
Or was
Take
it?
me back to the schnitzel.
Yeah, and then it was
so good.
But it was like I had on my radar, I want to speak to Michelle about this, and you just were like, where is all of this? Where all of these great things that you're telling me now? Why am I not seeing this here? Like, why is it so random? And I was like, fair point. And I just realized quickly, not everyone knows everything about you, do they? Just because it's in your biography doesn't mean people read it. And I felt I've always wanted to embrace it. And a few years ago, I felt a little bit uncomfortable, like, oh, what would people think? Now, to be honest, I don't really care. If they don't want to watch it, just don't follow it. Don't watch it. I mean, nothing that I'm doing is offensive. But this kind of slight, oh, am I good enough to be putting stuff? Are people going to like it? And I've just got this attitude. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, I want to just put my stuff out there. So you gave me a plan. We worked together and you gave me a plan. It was like, first of all, what are the 3 things about me? I had just been working at my biography and had help from Bernhard to think about what I want to be doing. I think I look at it every year as well. These things don't stay still. And it's like, I want everyone to know I'm a conductor. I'm passionate about my community's behind the scenes process. And then it's like 1 post for each of those 3 things a week. Incredible feedback from you. And I think the key thing is consistency. It takes me a bit of time. I've got quicker. I mean, it was like really slow to begin with. I'm not very good at these things, but I got quicker. I mean, I do think it would be nice, like maybe long term, to have someone that I can bring in to help with that. But I think what you were saying to begin with, it was like, well, how do you know what you want them to do? How do you know what you want them to do? What's the method? What's the program? And you really helped me with the structure underneath. And just because you are fearless, you encourage other people to go, you know what? Let's just go for it. And I think I've been doing it for like 6 to 8 weeks. People through the New Voices community program on Facebook, when they go there, they love them. They just donated to New Symphonia project that we've got coming up. A couple of hundred. Well, that's nice. And then so many people that I know have said, who's doing your social media? Which I'm like, oh, maybe that means it's all right, actually. It's like, it's me. And they're like, really? You're doing it? You're doing it? It's like, yeah. But people are commenting, and I think that that has to be a good thing, because it's increasing what you said, visibility. You can't be invisible, and the consistency and the visibility. And I think that I've got things that are worth saying and sharing. And maybe if I did come to this 5 years ago, it wouldn't have been the same, because I feel like I'm much more comfortable in my own skin. I know what I'm about, and I'm always wanting to learn, but I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I think it's going really well. And I'm trying to not measure it by the number of views or likes, but they do seem to go up. But it's like you said, you want social media to pay you money. And okay, I've had money into New Symphonia that way, and other people are like a conductor Stockport Symphony Orchestra. I did one for them recently about a piece I'm learning. They loved it, and they were like, "Could you help us with our social media?" And I've
look at this.
Yeah, and then I've been invited to do a talk when I go out to Hong Kong, and that came out through them seeing the behind the scenes process talks and saying,
way.
"Could you go into that a little bit more, and could you come and
I
do this
didn't know
inspiring
this.
talk?" Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we need to just like hammer this in, because you showed your process and it showed a strength that you have, a skill that you have. And then people are like, oh, hey, we didn't know he was good at that. We need that. We're going to bring this guy in. And this is exactly why we need artists to show what they can do, because if we don't know, we can't hire you.
Yeah, and a lot of people have no idea how a conductor learns music behind the scenes, because you don't have a choir or an orchestra in your practice room. Yeah, I mean, like just yesterday, a student that I taught 5 years ago wrote out to me, said, "I really love your process videos. Can you keep them going?" I haven't heard from him in 5 years. So I enjoy those. And I think the thing that I'm growing to be more comfortable with is, I don't think it's arrogant and need to just say, I want people to see what I'm doing. I want to get more work. You know, I want
bigger impact.
I want to get bigger gigs to have more impact, to earn more money, yeah, but to have more impact and to get the life I want, to help the people that I want to help. And
Yes.
and it's just, you've got to sing your own song. So I just basically tried to do that on social media, and I actually really enjoy it. I really enjoy taking responsibility of the narrative of something, and then you were helping me to be like quicker. To snap things out, but to think about, why is anybody going to find this interesting? It's quite a direct, blunt question delivered in a very Michelle way, but that's what I needed. Why does anyone give a So
I didn't say that. I said, why would anyone care? In a nice way.
in a nice way. But like, what do you want it to do? What do you want it to say? And it's like wherever I'm working now, so many people are coming to say, loving the socials, or you're really on it. And I think a student said to me recently that I haven't seen for 3 years, "Oh, your social's really wholesome."
Aw.
And I'm like,
That's a Gen Z compliment. That's a big compliment from them, if you get that.
yeah.
Wholesome is like a key word.
And they
I've
went,
learned this.
they said your socials wouldn't be as if you were like coming out of college at 21. And it was like, what would it look like if I was? And they were like, I know we couldn't really sense, but maybe it's also what I'm saying, this sense of like you. I'm basically in life just trying to show that you can be from a state educated, normal background. You can have loads of barriers in front of you. And if you work hard, have people around you, and you work really hard to develop your skill, you can do it, and you can hopefully show that it's possible for other people to do it.
Hey, I've loved having you. You've shared so many wonderful things. Thank you for what you're doing for the community, for the orchestra, for the students. Thank you for what you continue to build and pursue. I know it's not easy what you're doing, and you're an example to many, and your socials are amplifying that. So I'm glad you're in my life. I'm glad that we're friends.
And vice versa. And I will say to your audience that TFA are not on any commission for anything that I've just said about socials. You should all just do it. Just do it. It's good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. And you'll get money. You'll get gigs. We have our social media sprint coming up in July. Make sure you just send us a DM about the sprint. 6 weeks will get you up and running so you can be consistent. Rob, we love to finish each episode with a takeaway, action point. What do you want the audience to take away from today's call?
I guess if I can do one, but it's divided in two. If
Such
anyone...
a conductor thing to say.
Yeah, sorry. We're going to go from letter A, and this is...
Yeah.
No.
We're in 2/4 time.
If any of you are building a project and you're holding back on drafting a pitch or writing to somebody, send it. Send it. Or
We're all sitting on something.
write a draft and send it to someone.
Oh my gosh. I'm sitting on one right now. Oh, I'm getting called out on my own podcast.
And I guess the other thing is, go and put that post out, share it with me, and I'll share it on my socials.
Ooh. Okay, so then they have to tag Rob Guy Conductor.
Yeah, and just...
All right, everybody. I'm gonna put double behind that offer. If you guys put out a post after you hear this episode, tag Rob Guy Conductor and the Fearless Artist Mastermind. We will reshare it to our stories. Screenshot this episode. Let us know that you were listening. Rob, any final thoughts? Anything you want to finish with?
Be fearless.
Be fearless.
Go
I
for
love it. All right. Well, it's been a real pleasure to have you, and I'm always happy when we connect. So I will see you real soon. And as always, thanks for listening. Be fearless.
Thank you for listening to the Fearless Artist Podcast. If you found today's episode inspiring, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to share this podcast with a friend. To join our membership or one of our coaching programs, visit our website at thefearlessartistmastermind.com.
This episode was produced by Pokey Huang at phMediaStudios in New York City. We're Deanna and Michelle, encouraging you to create your own opportunities and to go after what you want. You have what it takes to build the career of your dreams. Until next time, be fearless.